reminder for our hip internal external rotation rocking exercise. Seated on our tailbone, feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, keeping our core up nice and high. We should be feeling our diaphragm and those abs being nice and tight as we're maintaining that stability through here. And then this is as we're working on that simple ability to internally rotate our hips and rotate side to side. You should feel a little bit of some stretch through this top anterior portion of the hip. Shouldn't be painful. If it is a little bit painful, then don't go quite as deep. Work within the range that you have available, going for your given number of sets and reps. This is our isolated hip extensor exercise. This is very similar to what you might know as like a donkey kick or something along those lines. So for this, we're going to be on our hands and knees, hands underneath our shoulders, knees underneath our hips. Again, maintaining our abs nice and tight, bring that belly button to the spine and breathing through the belly as we're doing these exercises. And then for here, we're going to extend our hip. So reaching out back behind us, we're going to keep our low back nice and flat, pressing through our heel, not pressing through our toes, pressing through the heel, and getting a very good squeeze and contraction through those glute muscles. Do not arch your low back. Do not let your hip rotate out. If anything, almost exaggerate and internally rotate your hip just a little bit to help you isolate and fire that glute. So for a rep, you're going to bring it out, you're going to hold for a good 2-second contraction, and then bring it back, and then go again. So we're not going to alternate, we're going to maintain on one side just to get those glutes fired up and warmed up. Exercise is the Copenhagen plank exercise. Even though it's a plank, it's actually going to be working to strengthen through our adductors and groins. Big thing to remember as we're doing this, as with all exercises that we have you do that's in rehab in nature, we're focusing on that core stabilization and posture. We're having those hips nice and tucked and rotated, bringing that belly button to the spine the entire time. If we find that we're starting to extend through our low back or our hips are starting to drop, we need to stop, reset, and then make sure we're doing the exercises right. I'd rather you do the exercise right and do it well as opposed to just slopping through the exercise and making it a garbage rep. So for the Copenhagen plank, you're going to need to have something to place your foot on, whether that's a soccer ball, whether that's a chair, whether that's a mattress, whether it's a stack of textbooks, it doesn't really matter. The higher up it is, the more challenging it will be, but also where it's placed in relationship to your body will also affect the difficulty. So for example, a relatively easy Copenhagen plank, you're going to be having your knee at the level that's elevated. And so we're here, bring it up, we're holding this position. Again, keeping that belly nice and tight, keeping that hip nice and flat, and maintaining this position for a period of time. The next progression, where you can make it a little bit more challenging, is you shift towards down more at the level of the ankle, and we're up, and we're maintaining that core position nice and tight, maintaining the nice straight level. The final progression, after you're able to maintain that with good technique and with no pain, is to then progress where we're adding a little bit of an oscillation or a variation. So an example of that would be as we're down here and we're maintaining this position, we're coming up into a forward knee flex position as we're maintaining the Copenhagen plank. Again, should be feeling it through this internal groin as well as through the lower opposite oblique as it provides that stability. This is our rear foot elevated split squat exercise. As we do this, our rear foot, again, is going to be elevated. We don't want it to be extended super far back behind us, but we do want to have a little bit of some hip extension. A good rule of thumb is to have your foot elevated to about the level of your knee. As we're doing this, again, maintaining that belly button to the spine, the theme that we notice through everything that we do as we're in this position. We're keeping our hips forward. I don't want our hips to rotate or compensate. We're maintaining through here. So it should have that nice straight line as we're coming forward. Then we're going to come down into a forward lunge squat position. You're going to hold that for about 5 seconds, and then you're going to come back up. And that's one rep.